point of view, though, they need to kind of look at this as a, okay, we need to like at least try and get ourselves those extra points, because although yes, both teams are out of the running to make it through to the playoffs, there is still a few extra points if you can finish slightly higher up on the board. So that's always going to be beneficial. The only thing that worries me though is it seems like Hauser and Forest, they play well pretty much every single game, or at least have a decent showing. They need get right though. Every map over the last like few, well, every series they've won, it seems like get right actually goes positive in those series, and when they lose, he's normally having a bit of a bad game. Either way, we are going to be right into things. Jason, and it's already going to be the pistol round underway. Obo with a fantastic nade to kick things off, and he's still alive. I don't know how they haven't traded him out, and he's at least bought some time for those rotations.
Yeah, well, I don't think my auto is working, so we're going to get some sweet observing for me, I guess it is, as this is going to be very tough now. I don't know why my key isn't actually just going off through it. But anyways, they're going to be pushing back into the side. Exist going to be dropped by Rush. He's still going to be looking for a couple more players. It's actually be Poison now to take down Freiburg over in the upper part. And it's coming down to Forrest in the 1-on-4. He's already been spotted out, and Complexity will have a fairly easy retake here. Only losing that one player of Obo, and they actually get the team ace, more importantly.
Yeah, good retake from them. I think Obo's like basically time wasting as they were pushing down the ramp definitely made things harder for Dignitas, unable to take control of the rest of the site, which is basically the way teams play. I still remember back in the day, the classic was to just fall all the way back and try and bounce grenades off the door, but that doesn't really fly anymore. Teams just try and get aggressive. They try and take close connector control, get around oil, and because it took them so long to kill Obo, Dignitas didn't get a chance to do that. Now, a lot of teams do force into this second round when they get the bomb down. They've made the decision just to go for a few pistols. They'll get a 4-buy in the next round. They can basically look to try and break Complexity a little bit early. And you can see the Complexity are more than aware of this potential. They've invested solely into rifles and I guess a scout, although it does come under the same bracket. And they want to keep all of these into the next round. Even a 1 or 2 players loss will make things awkward for them financially in the next.
Well, he did have the big stack on the outer bomb site right off the bat just to make sure there's no sort of rush. And that nade coming through knocks Force down to about 11 HP. But here we go. Smoke's being thrown in. Flash as well. Garrett's going to lead the charge. And there you go. Obo's going to fall immediately. Rush as well. Gets caught falling off the train. And he's going to fall to get right. And just like that, Dignitas have a realistic chance in this round. However, Config's been able to respond onto the first and the second as well. So that's going to be still the man advantage in favor of Dignitas. That's all on Poison and Blame F. And Poison's got the scout.
This has gone way too far already. Blame F. He's going to be holding, trying to spray down those players. He's actually going to get both. They didn't really need to keep continuing to face. Even the damage they've done already is decent exist. I don't think he stands a chance. Unfortunate. A really nice round for them overall, but you sort of sit there in that 3 versus 2 and go, this should be a victory almost for Dignitas. But now, just look what they'll come back with. They can get the AWP if they desire. Get right already getting a couple of kills in that round is going to have the extra cash. And everything else, full rifles and all the utility, whereas the CTs, they basically have to invest everything. In fact, this round buy almost looks worse than the last one.
Just want to point this out. I know you can't really see it on your side as you see the impact players Blame F, and I am just laughing at how he barely fits in the entire frame with the massive guns he's got on his arms. But yeah, Complexity not the best to buy here. You have the MP9 for Config, but Dignitas, credit to them. That's not really a bad round. The bomb plant, 3 kills. And all you really had was pistols invested. They're going to be very happy coming into this round, but it's up to them now to be able to pull this one off. And again, we're still going to see Obo left alone. So it looks like Complexity going for that same kind of strategy we've seen countless times on Train of the early stack. Really putting a lot of pressure on Obo to be the one to defend. And Forrest just catches Blame F trying to get aggressive, but that seems to be his style, right? We've always seen Blame F be this guy who likes to lurk and get aggressive at random times, and now the inside hit's coming, and it's looking good for Dig.
Well, I'm liking this already. The fact that Get Right's got off to a strong start. Famously emotional player, I guess you could say. Like when things are going right, they go very, very right. And you can definitely see it affects him when things go wrong. But already right near the top of the board, or in fact up the top of the board for his squad. A couple of entry kills in this round. And this was the worry. Like I mentioned how much damage they could do just with those pistols in the last round if things went well. Now you look at the CT side finances and they're already screwed. They almost, I would almost say it might be worth going for a force buy here because loss bonus is going to be at a minimum. They'll only have 1900 into the next round, and there's a chance at least they could win this round, whereas saving into the next, what, the best you can get is maybe a FAMAS per player. That is not what you want to be going into a round with. So we are going to see the risk taken. Scouts board up. Poison with any sort of sniper is something that I want to be watching. So hopefully they can get something done here. However, again, the T's are going to take upper B control. Just look to try and put the pressure onto Obo. And it seems like he's going to have a lot of work to do today.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is the star we got to see back in Pro League. Had so much hopes in him, and we saw complexity back in Season 9 of Pro League. We were pleasantly surprised, especially with like the new acquisition of Blame F coming on over and looking to lead the team. But again, looks like it'll be the inside play. Rush is able to get one. Obo as well gets a headshot into Halzerk. It's not too bad of a start here for them. Bomb still should be planted here momentarily once Exist is able to clear out Obo, and he's going to be able to do just that. But Poison, you talked about seeing him on the scout. There's the first kill coming through. And at least Exist by himself on the inner bomb site with Firebird, the one to rotate in a little bit later to help out. So maybe they might think it's going back towards the A site. It actually might be doing just that.
Yeah, the real worry now is just how low these two remaining players are. Even a deagle shot to the chest might be enough to finish them off. So any of these guns now become deadlier by the second. We've seen Config in some reasonable form recently, so I wouldn't be too worried with him with the majority of the HP. Poison, he's just trying to play an off angle here just to make sure that he's given a chance at that shot. The only worry is he doesn't have the information yet. So the only thing that's really going to give it away is the sound cue. And that Molotov, if it spreads in his direction, he'll be dead. But luckily, he's got himself into the corner. Going to try and shoot under the bomb train, but won't find anything because of it. And the T's, they've at least got themselves into a 2v3 clutch.
Well, they've been able to rescue the AK for Config, so not too bad of a chance. It comes down to, well, we normally talk about the double op setups, and double ops retaking is very difficult, but double scout's gonna be coming through, or maybe it's just Config now. It's Freiburg alone against 3. He's got a lot of work to do here to be able to pull this round off. The bomb's just gonna be tapped, not stuck, and I believe Freiburg just spotted Config out, but he also spots Poison, and he gets the transfer, but he's all alone versus Blame F, and Blame F playing that one from long range gets the kill, but there's no kitten to be seen, and that will be Dignitas still taking the round.
That's brutal. Wow, that's another round where every single player on the complexity side gets a kill, but yeah, that 1v3, it looked like it was over for Freiburg. As said, a single shot from any of the guns in play would have been enough to take him down, but clearing out the first two, the transition onto the second player was sick as well. And then, well, it was still a decent round, I guess you could say, from complexity because of what they had invested, but that was everything. They put their full buy into that. Of course, the round previously was a flawless one from Dignitas as well, so they've now had 3 with nobody surviving and 1 with everybody, but that has set them up nicely financially. So you can see them coming in here with full AKs and AWP and still having some money in reserve. So it's not the end of the world, but that's a round where you have to go, okay, we now need to be a little bit more careful. We can't almost be losing to a few scouts and some deagles. The T side can be really tough on train, and you don't want to allow the finances to be bolstered for the CT side. Blame F, the only one with anything here. They have fully stacked this A site. Everybody is waiting for the push to come in with 2 men dropped and 2 with basically nothing in play. There shouldn't be much of a chance. And unless Blame F is going to get an ace, well, this round is over.
We can still see, I mean, Dignitas playing this one extremely slow. Blame F will get the first. Position given up, though, and if he's going to go for more, I would assume not. I mean, maybe try to save this AK for the next round yet again. It's still going to be very tough to do so. Well, Get Right's already on the chase for him. So Blame F, again, by himself. Not going to get the better of Get Right, and that will be Dignitas taking the lead at 3-2. And as we were talking about before, very CT-sided map when it comes to train. Double up setup is going to be extremely devastating for either of these teams when we get them set up. But I think Dignitas are really happy to get these first 3 rounds, especially how, you know, the initial round, it was horrible. The pistol round didn't go their way at all. But we're going to see the buy up again out of complexity. Utility lacking just a little bit. They're lacking, I guess, maybe some crucial incendiaries, especially like Obo, who's been playing on the inner bomb site by himself. All he has is the smoke to delay.
That makes a tough job even tougher. Also, not having the AWP early on. Like, I want to see Poison AWPing as much as humanly possible. So the fact that that gun is missing means they don't have their ideal setup. More of a default round from Dignitas, though. They're just going to wait out in different portions of the map, take all that control, make a decision later. Halzerk yet to really do too much with the AWP as of right now. Well, a lot of utility being expended by Complexity. Just trying to delay as much as humanly possible, but using so much with still a minute left on the clock, I feel like Dignitas might be able to use this to their advantage. Looking like they're about to try and take some Ivy control, but with the bomb slowly rotating back towards the B site, it could potentially just be to try and hold off rotations and wrap around on the flank.
Looks like Poison, though, is actually going to flash in Blame F. It might be at the perfect time. Freiburg will be there. But no damage really being traded out. And now Poison's even going to go to reinforce as Blame F gets the first kill. But it's still the bomb not in that position. There's still going to be the two players defending on the inner bomb site. And Rush and Oboe able to just get one for each other. Exists now. By himself with 6 HP is trying to get this bomb potentially planted. But with 15 seconds left, I'd say that's pretty much going to do it. And Complexity will bounce back with the first gun round.
Yeah, a good hold from them in the end. As said, they were running out of utility, which made things a bit dangerous, I guess you could say, for the side of Dig. Even still, the couple of rounds they've had, or the cleaner victories they've had, have been with 5 and 4 players alive, so the money's still decent for now. I think we're still yet to see an AWP for Complexity, which I do think once that starts to come into play, we could see them become a fair bit more dominant. The Bulgarian is for sure a force to be reckoned with. But once again, Ivy control seems to be a big part of Dignitas' T side. A position you can't really give away for free, of course. Allows for plenty of flanks and a hell of a lot of information. Poison gonna have his work cut out. Both players actually take a hefty tag in the initial stages of the round. But as of right now, still a 5v5.
Well, Config looking to honestly use his pop position. Here's a man above him. And Dignitas pretty much looking to use, I guess, every second off the clock, trying to bait out utility. Poison's already been tagged up to 17 HP, so he's in a little bit of a rough position here. Freiburg's even using the majority of his utility over towards Ivy, maybe trying to keep their eyes on that direction. Force just pushes straight out of main, takes down Poison, so the low HP player is out of the fight in this round. And now they're trying to deal with Config to maybe help assist the transition in towards Pop, and Halzer's able to get the kill, but not before Config gets him second. Now it leads into a 3-on-3, and Halzer's got the up. Freiburg can flank in from Ivy, but it's still going to be tough to get this bomb onto the forward position on towards site.
That kill from Hauser, so important. In fact, he just clears out everybody. A 4K from the Norwegian, and more leaves. Complexity once again in a bit of an awkward position. It seems like both teams are sort of winning these in the mid rounds, like a lot of clutch situations, a lot of big plays. I thought Config had actually given them a big way into that round, as their second headshot he hits while running out of the flames is somewhat disgusting, but either way, we are just going to see a few pistols invested for this round. Financially still, it's an awkward spot for Complexity. They'll have 2,400 coming in the next round, which thankfully means we'll finally have that AWP for Poison, maybe able to counter what has been an awakening for Hauser. Still, again, this round is all about damage. And, well, it seems like Dignitas either win things nigh on completely clean, or they almost lose the round. There isn't much of a middle ground for the Swedes at the moment. Blame F, well, the main hope here is steal a gun. I don't think he's going to get away with more than one kill, but if that kill happens to be an AWP, I'm sure he'd be happy to just walk away with that into the next round.
Well, maybe he can catch out Freiburg here, but Freiburg's already just trailed directly on this angle. Yeah, there you go. Freiburg will close out, and Dignitas 5-3 now. They are on a landslide performance, and I guess one thing we really haven't talked too much about is like the past performances out of these teams, because they're both 1-5 in the road to Rio, which obviously isn't the best kind of position to be in. But Complexity has almost gone the full distance in every single match they played. They've gone 1-2 Astralis, 1-2 Vitality, 1-2 Heretics, 2-1 Ents, 1-2 NIP, and then 0-2 up against Fnatic. Like, they've had to really grind for the 1-5 they currently have, which honestly, if a couple of those matches went a different way, we could see them actually be one of the top teams within the group, funny enough.
Yeah, I think that's more what we expect from these closer matches in the EU, though, is that they do go the difference, or distance, I should say. Poison, he finally gets his AWP, and I have to say I'm a bit disappointed. He's dead within the first few seconds. Config and Blame F, however, do combine to at least bring things back into a 3 versus 3. Config doing a decent job as well to leave Exist low. And now he's going to pick up the AWP. Actually catch Blame F pushing, but the Dane has got himself to a decent position. Picks up the AWP, however, and that will be his demise. Into a 2v2 we go. Get right, sneaking his way through onto the B site. Has already cleared out one of the remaining men. And I do wonder if there is a possibility Rush could actually catch the bomb. He's going to go up the ladder. It seems like Get Right's pushing to make sure that this is an impossibility. And although Rush does get that initial kill, pints it in between 2 players, Dignitas left him with no real chance.
Yeah, well done. Halzer gets 3 kills in the round. I mean, this is my first game actually casting Halzer, and, you know, I've always been able to see some in the past, but pleasantly surprised in how he's been able to meld within, you know, the Dignitas roster so far. Able to pick up that op role and play alongside legends. And I guess that's one thing we've always talked about with the Dignitas boys back when they were on NIP, was that any player they ever brought in, it was always like a tough time because you're playing with legends of the game. Everyone remembers the streak of wins they had, you know, when CSGO was first around. They were easily the best team in the world, but now we've seen a lot of world breakers come into the light. And it's cool to see Dignitas as an organization give these guys a chance to get, you know, back on the forefront. But we're going into round number 10. And Complexity, well, they have 4 nades, so I'm imagining we're going to see those thrown in towards T-mid, going towards T-main. But Dignitas already have, I think, a lead they're going to be happy with going into the next half. I think the only disappointing fact for them could be if they don't get any more rounds, considering how they've been able to win 6 so far in the first 9.
Yeah, I think even if it was a 9-6 half, it's not a bad scoreline for them. But yeah, because they are so far in the lead already, if it ended up 9-6, I think even just the momentum could be enough for Complexity to take it over the line. So a good start, but I think at this point they're looking to win the half and to win the train T side, especially once we've seen the disappearance of the Krieg. That's an impressive fate on this map so far, and Complexity looking a little bit out of it at the moment. We've only seen that AWP once, and it lasted a matter of seconds before they got taken down. I think Poison's been struggling a little bit, and well, we've not really seen much from the team in general. Like Obo, he's the solo B player. If he's going down almost every single round, that's an issue. And I think they might actually have to try and maybe be a little bit more aggressive, like try switching Poison over to upper B, try and get him set up so that they can section off parts of the map. Because at the moment, Dignitas, they've had B site or upper B whenever they want, really. I don't think we've seen any change in that throughout the match. Ivy, they've been able to dominate as well. Like it's been Hauser wrecking his opposing AWP pretty much every time. And we haven't really seen anything other than, I think, pop control taken from Complexity, which on a map like Train, you can't allow your opposition to have everything unless it's something that you're banking on, or maybe your B-side player is just playing phenomenally.
Well, I think also a big part of it is that, isn't this the first time we're seeing the AWP actually picked up for Complexity in the hands of Poison?
I think it's the second
time?
I think he died so fast in the first one that it was easy to miss.
Well, the unfortunate part is that, like, Train CT side, it's renowned for having double ops, but they've not had the real economy, I think, to invest into that just yet. So it's been a little bit of a struggle for them to get their feet really on the ground so far on Train. It is 7-3 still in favor of Dig on the T side, and Poison, we might be able to see him use the op. Finally, there we go. Shot onto Halzer. Gets in the first frag, and that alone, it forces Dignitas away. And this is so funny because he's kind of by himself. You do have Rush over towards Connector, but they almost could have just rushed straight down there and traded that because of how forward he was playing. But obviously not trying to line up, not trying to give him any extra kills. And looks like they're going to try their chances elsewhere.
Well, it's nice to see they actually did take the switch. I thought he might go upper B instead, but even still, like, Obo's been struggling, like, finding picks on that side of the map. So they basically just trying to completely change things up. And maybe from Dignitas' perspective, they know where Obo's been playing. So I think they now made a bit of an assumption that there's going to be less players here. However, it was just a straight swap. So already Blame F is going to give a man advantage over to Complexity, something I don't think I've said for quite a while. And the T's trying to sneak through. Get Right actually gets away with that. I thought Rush would have caught him on the peak. Exist also getting a second kill back in. Now, all three players on the Dignitas side are tagged, so there is still opportunities here for Complexity, but from a 4v3 so quickly trading back. Poison, again, we're going to see him with a second pick this round, finally coming alive, and with Blame F elevated, it now leaves Get Right in a really tough spot. 12 seconds left, Poison watching the angle, and finally, after pretty much wanting that AWP for so long, we're actually going to see it, and it will have impact as well.
Yeah, well done by him, the 3K coming through, and they really needed that, honestly, with how things were going. I mean, Dignitas are on the cusp of taking that first half lead, and that's on T side of Train. We are going to see Halzerk pick up the op, though, so we're going to potentially see him go for the battle up against Poison, and I wonder if they're going to keep Poison over towards the A side to look for an early pick yet again and put Obo somewhere else. It looks like they won't be doing that, so Obo will be holding by himself with the AUG, and Poison will have the opportunity to contest. Looks like over towards Ivy this time, but Freiburg's going to be the one to receive. I don't think they're going to expect so many players to be pushing this far up, and Poison only gets the kill, but gets knocked down to 52 health from the fire alone. And I think he spotted 2 players going towards Ivy, so maybe it's go time on the inner bomb site.
Oh, Obo, though. Such good timing with the aggression. He's going to get that pick straight back. Halzerk now done as well. And I like this. We're seeing a few adaptations coming in from Complexity. I think they've realized that these passive holes on the site just don't work. A position that's been challenged so often has been over on Ivy, so they take that control away. Basically, what I was mentioning before, that they need to start taking some control back, and they've done it in multiple positions this round. So the aggressive B play as well coming out from Obo. He had support as well, so I think they've realized that having a solo man on B just isn't working for them. Like, Rush was a little bit quicker to maneuver himself over onto B. Once again, we're going to see an advantage for Complexity going into the latter stages. This is going to be really tough as well, because Config being close, this is a position that you might clear, but with so many angles still to check, it's going to be difficult to get a kill. And in fact, he will find both players as they run out of Pop Dog. Very good round from Complexity. I like the adaptations that they've made, but now is the opportunity for Dig to maybe throw in a bit of a curveball themselves. I would even like to see them with just the, like, maybe some SMGs in the mix of their buy. Go for a fast B. Like, put the pressure on Obo once again. He's crumbled a couple of times in these early round situations. And basically, then Complexity will be in an awkward spot when it comes to their aggression in the round after, because they have to question whether or not Dignitas will do something like that again.
I'd almost like to see even potentially like the Tech 9 buys. I know you and I have been casting some other online stuff, and we've seen the Tech 9 come around quite a few times. But if Rush is going to play that quicker rotate in towards the inner bomb site, you know, through connector, maybe a quick rush on outside would be a good little plan to get through. Either way, we're going to have Dignitas take the timeout. Think about if they do want to force up into the SMGs here. And we obviously have Exist on 5.7, but the rest of the money is a little bit lacking besides Halzerk. And there we go. Tech 9, AK, so kind of, I guess we can call this a force up, though they haven't really bought all utility. I don't know. This is an awkward buy, I feel like.
Buy. It's a half buy. They have the money to do it. Like, the next round, they're still going to get 2,400. I think they wanted to make sure that Halzerk could get his AWP, and they have picked up the pace a little bit. Pressure onto Ivy. Nice shot from Poison, though. It seems like he has finally woken up in this match. It does help when you get your gun of choice. Freiburg sneaking his way through, but the bomb being dropped is going to make things very difficult, and just going to make sure that every single angle is clear. Good hold from Complexity. This was an important round for them to take. With a pace change, you always sort of worry for the CT side, because when it's been these slow defaults from Dignitas, it gets in your head to hold on to utility a little bit more. Like, you want to make sure that if they do go for a rush after a minute, you still have an incendiary, or you do have a smoke. So the fact that they're able to hold that so cleanly when the pace is completely different from Dig, it's nice to see from Complexity. And they finally started to bring things back. A half win, still possible, but there is going to be a full buy now.
Yeah, Halzerk back on the AWP. Big aggression coming on the inner bomb site. We have Poison Obo already pushing up. Config, in the meantime, just kills Freiburg and turns around and kills 2 more as they push out of team main. And Complexity now, with a massive advantage, are still getting aggressive around the map. They're pushing in towards Halls. They have the bomb down. And for Exist and Halzerk, I was going to say, you know, maybe think about saving, but with a minute and 30 seconds left, The potential to do that is pretty much none. I think they're even just be flanked in from behind out of Oboe.
That's a really good thing, especially when we're about to switch over to the T side in a moment for Complexity, is that Config seems to have come online as well with the rest of the squad, because he really does like play the T sides well when he's in form. I think he's still one of the most high skill ceiling players maybe in the world. Like when he hits his stride, he can beat some of the top teams. It's just that we haven't seen it anywhere near as regularly as we would have liked. So that was a big round for him. Like 3 kills, clinical as ever, and in their T side, they're definitely going to need him.
I mean, let's be fair. He's been hitting some pretty consistent shots over towards Pop as well. Like, that was probably one of their weakest points in the map, as we talked about before, giving the control to Dignitas. But now he's on 13 kills. He's been able to get a couple of double kills here or there. Definitely coming online, is really starting to rise into this match, and still an important match, even though there's, I guess, a guaranteed bottom of the table when it comes to the group. Still points on the line for them, and right now we're seeing, it looks like Dignitas rush straight in towards that lower bomb site. Obo's able to get a quick 2 kills. But Halster's got the bomb, and he's watching the flank. So the bomb's even going to be a little bit delayed when it comes to the plant, and they're going to continue to push directly into them.
Get right has to go huge here, and he does! He's just going to spray down 3 with a MAC-10. Dear Lord, where did that come from? And Hauzerk is going to put the final nail in the coffin. A first half lead for Dignitas, and Complexity, they're going to have a very big T side, Jason.
Yeah, so we're going to head to a short break. When we do come back, it'll be the continuation of the match that's going on as we get into the second half.
I fed up when you fell down, but we stayed in flight. I'm laughing to myself, cause I know that I can't deny. I can't find what you can't hide right inside my mind. What I do, what I do, what I do right now. What I do, what I do, what I do right now. For you, for you.
Welcome back, everyone. We are into game here with our second half now between Complexity and Dignitas, and that's going to mean Dignitas is over on the CT side and Complexity over on the T side with the advantage going to Dignitas. Jace Capital joined by Tom Biz, and we're on board with Freiburg at the moment as he's over towards Ivy, looking to stop this push in towards this outer bomb site.
I'm really sad. Get Right bought some dual Berettas. Poison picked them up, and both players have died. And Forrest, though, oh, he's the USP king, as he's already going to find 2 back in return. Blame F just waiting.
All
okay.
right.
Barely even saw the pixel of a player, but he clearly saw a lot more than I did. Now Freiburg left alone. 1 versus 3. So much to do here. First kill does go his way, and the bomb's going to retreat back, actually heading towards the B site. And while this is happening, Blame F is just watching for Freiburg. Pissed around the way of Complexity, and they kick off the T side well.
Not bad, not bad. I like how Blame was holding that angle for such a long time, and then just comes in with the 1 shot straight to the dome to win that little bit of a fight. But yeah, good start here for Complexity, winning the pistol round, but they're still going to have to do a lot more, and I do worry, obviously, when we do get Halzerk on the AWP, because he was looking phenomenal earlier on the T side when he was able to use the weapon. And same kind of rate, Poison was looking really good. He started to rise into the actual match here. It was same with Config, who's on 13 kills. Here we go. Looks like the nade stack coming through at Dignitas. They have forced up with the Deagles. P250. A couple scouts in there, too. Doesn't seem like they have the best read necessarily where Complexity will be going. So they're going to be challenging over towards Ivy. Freiburg spots that out. Doesn't hit the shot, unfortunately. But at least they're being given a chance to do some early damage with these scouts before Complexity do, you know, execute on towards the site.
Yeah, I actually like how much utility we have for Complexity, though. This is clear that they're ready for this force-up. The only worry is the lack of rifles. Now, there's a lot of like long-range battles when it comes to train, and you don't want to be taking most of those with the likes of a MAC-10. In fact, I think most people would rather have the scout that's currently on the CT side. So I imagine this execution is going to have to come in so that they can make sure that all of these angles are clear. They can basically section off the site and make things very awkward for Dignitas and then fall back for some sort of retake. Now, the CT side seem to be gambling. They've thrown 3 players over onto the B site, a 4th even looking to make that rotation back over. And this is just based off the patience that's coming out for Complexity. A lot of utility now starting to be expended. The smokes, the flashbangs being thrown over. And sure, the rotation can come back in, but it's going to be quite awkward for the remaining players. Freiburg starting to get pressured, and there's no way he's going to get out of that one alive. Now, the bomb does have to make its way over to the site, but as you can see, all that utility has left no remaining CT players on the site, and a bomb plant will come in for Cole.
It's almost just worth saving this now for them. Save the P250, save the Deagle and the Scout for the next round. You never know what could happen with any of those weapons. It looks like, yeah, they'll be going for the save here. So we will have Complexity win up their second round now on the T side, we should say. Rush with a nice double with the Galil to open things up. And yeah, I mean, the utility usage out of Complexity. The funny thing is that it seemed like a lot of it went to waste. And I don't mean necessarily in a bad way, because what we saw, most of the players were on the Dignitas side, on the inner bomb side. So the flashes, the smokes, they didn't really catch anyone. But I guess it gives the safety out of Complexity to know they can push some of these angles and have some of these positions cleared up and not be too worried in the long run.
Well, I suppose the one saving grace for the CT side is they did get to keep a little bit of that extra weaponry. It's a shame that in terms of their gamble, that the timing of it couldn't have been worse when they started rotating players away, because by the time the take actually came in, they would have had to basically just YOLO through smoke with a Deagle, and I can't say I'm much of a believer in that working out. I'm sure it has in the past, and I'm sure it will again, but it's not something stable. This time they're going to do the standard. 4 players, just the one of Exist. He's got a saved smoke, so he can delay them if they do try and push into B, but already Halzerk starting to come under some real pressure. Forrest is fallen, but they have done the damage to at least Blame F, and while Rush will even get cleared out by Get Right, he's not going to get to hold on to any of the weaponry, but a second player down, and interestingly, that's the bomb. Now, Exist is going to try and make this awkward, but Config is too quick to find that trade. So 10-8, scoreline now firmly in the favor of Complexity, but this is where things get interesting, and straight away, we're going to have both sides buying up an AWP.
I did want to say this, by the way, about, you know, ramboing through a smoke with the Deagle. That's not my choice of weapon. If I do it, it's a PP Bison. I think it's the same for you, Tom. Best weapon to rambo through a smoke with. But yeah, like you said, double ops coming through. 1 out of Poison, 1 out of Halzerk. So we're going to see potentially the op battle. Halzerk, though, is going to be watching in towards inner, where maybe he's going to have an opportunity to take down Oboe. As he's going to be looking for the shot. Molotov immediately thrown in of Oboe to predict that sort of position. He's actually pushed up aggressively, so he gets the first kill. There's no re-challenge out of anyone else, and he's going to be able to run away from this.
Yeah, an important start. Because Dig don't have much utility. That's why we're seeing slightly more aggressive positions than we normally would. They can't delay a lot of these pushes coming in from Complexity. So he gets rid of that early man towards B. It's going to make things a bit awkward for Complexity as to where they actually go now. Because if they want to go aggressive, they know that somebody was up a B before. So they have to slowly clear out these angles. You can see Config doing just that. AK at least will be upgraded, so they've at least kept all their heavy weaponry in this round for now. But it has wasted a lot of time. Now, Ivy seems to be the new point of pressure. Freiburg actually wins that duel versus Poison as well. And now the T's, with only 2 grenades and 40-odd seconds, have a lot left to do.
You still see Rush holding this angle towards Ivy. Hoping that someone's going to push up against him so he can maybe get a kill and get things a little bit closer into potential round victory. They still have the bomb, however. That's going to be on Blame F. Get Right's pushed up. He's spawned at the first, spawns at the bomb as well, and now Config maybe fancying his chances. Rush has made his push in towards Ivy. It's allowed the bomb to be picked up for Config. He's got so many players to find, and I swear I thought that spray transfer was going to land directly on Forrest's head. But Dignitas are going to take the first gun round. They still maintain the op into the next round, more importantly. On the side of Complexity, well, they got money to buy. They can even afford up an op if they want to. But a good bounce back out of Dignitas.
Yeah, an important one at that. And I like the way they played the round as well. Like, the aggression from Halzerk at the beginning has its risks, but it was one that was necessary if their CT side was actually going to do much in that round. Because as I said, like, utility-wise, they didn't have much to stop the full force of Complexity. Will have a purchase, but that AWP is missing, and Rush has even had to fall down to the likes of a Galil, which, well, not ideal for sure. But this is the crunch round. If the T's lose it, their money is not going to be in a good place, but the exact same position will be had for Dignitas. They won't be able to afford, well, anything, let alone an AWP. It's only Exist who will have enough to actually buy into the next round. So if the Swedes, maybe the Nords, are going to have a chance of building into this half, they need to make this one stick. Now, they've had the extra utility into this round, and, well, again, we're going to see this slow default coming out from Complexity, just waiting to see if there is any aggression this time. Exist left as the solo man, but he does have some support from Halzerk, who's going to be playing the rotational role through the connector, opportunities to boost him up in retake scenarios, but it seems like he's going to dedicate himself a little bit further into B, while the T's looking like they're setting up for an A explosion, but waiting to see if Rush can do any damage first.
Well, speaking of him, oh my god, he jump spots over the smoke directly into a bullet in the dome from Freiburg. Great read out of Dignitas there. Now the push will be coming on towards the outer bomb site. Poison looking to lead the charge, and he takes Get Right down on the in-betweens on the bomb site. And Poison again gets himself a double, but Force is able to respawn. He's able to take down Config. He's got a player towards his left, a player towards his right.
Oh my God.
But it doesn't matter. It's vintage Force. He gets himself some more kills. That's a 3K so far. And leaves it all on Blame F now, who will have the drop on Exist. But he won't expect Force coming from behind. And that would be Dignitas taking another round. Force, an easy 4K for him.
I feel like Forrest is still going to be like popping heads in his mid-70s. Like the guy
retirement
just
home.
doesn't seem to drop off. Yeah, it's like 1v1 me. He'll be like destroying his grandson at video games. That would be the most depressing thing. Your granddad just owning you.
He's just going to be 1v1 people for their like jellos or their pudding in the retirement home, you know?
Oh god, I'm not gonna 1v1 him. I wouldn't do it even if he was 70 and I was my age now. I think I'd still lose. But it is Forest. I think I would happily lose a 1v1v Forest just to say that I've 1v1 Forest. But
I mean, I'm just curious how long his beard will be when he's 70. If he just lets it keep growing.
Gandalf.
Forest the Grey.
has a nice ring to it, has to be said. Now, Config, he's managed to retrieve a rifle. This is a round which is a money-making round, really, for Dignitas. So the fact that a rifle has fallen into Config's hand, a man we've seen to be clinical thus far in the match, does worry me a little bit. And they're looking to put the pressure on to exist. Now, there's a much higher chance of you getting the bomb down on B. That's why you see a lot of teams focus on this part of the map when they do have an eco. However, I don't know if they've realized that Exist has spotted out multiple players. So the rotation's going to come in from Hauser. He'll hold upper. It's the fake peek coming out from Rush. He was used as bait there. However, the idea is that Config's supposed to find a trade frag. He didn't, unfortunately. And well, now left 1 versus 4. Sure, an M4 would be nice, but he's not going to be allowed to hold on to it. 11-10, Dignitas, they take back the lead and now look to try and streak some more rounds together.
Well, again, we do have the money for Complexity to buy back up into this. The op could be Glass Cannon if they do want to throw it over to Poison that badly, but instead they're just going for the AKs. At the moment, Get Right on 18 kills, which is kind of funny. He's actually leading his team, but I guess he's just been getting a lot of like 1-2Ks consistently, because I haven't really seen him get like the 3-4Ks to really stand out. He's just been getting these kills left and right a little bit quietly. They got a big play coming in towards the outer bomb site. Complexity have stacked up quite a few players as they're locked in behind the smokes. And Blame's actually been able to sneak out, and they're starting to make some ground here. The smoke's coming in out of them. As Complexity look to get on towards this bomb site, they still have so many players to find here. And Halzerk opens things up with the first.
Strong start to the round. Blame F able to get the trade and actually spots the AWPer, who is going to have to fall back. Luckily, he has Forrest, and that shot was so fast. Another one from Hauserk as well. And it leaves just Obo left. 1v4. No real chance, and Forrest will close him out as well. This duo of Hauserk and Forrest has been absolutely disgusting so far on the A side. It doesn't seem like the T's have had much luck breaking them down. I want to point out, at the beginning of the last round, in the last couple of seconds, it seemed like Complexity wanted to call a pause, but Poison spelt the word tack wrong. He wrote rack. So they just had to play the round. So
he's just thinking about the money he wants. He wants more racks.
Dot rack, it gives you an extra 1K when you start the round.
Ooh, big nade stack coming through, expecting the play to come out. The team aim, Obo. Attack 9, blocked out by the smoke. Flashbangs come through, though, and he gets a double kill. Quick little turnaround to Get Right's head. Gets him that one. Halzerk, though, is still alive, and you can't underestimate this man, as there's still a 2-on-3 in favor of Complexity. Poison's able to deal with him. That's the op now down. Exist is alone against 3, and he's going to fall. And well, you know, I was saying before, Tom, the Tech 9 rushes that we've seen in the last couple of days of our casting, it works out well, especially against a team that's not really prepared for it.
Yeah, it's definitely a pistol that's coming back into fashion, though. It like the buff that was made to it has clearly made a big difference. Or it's always hard to tell, because I feel like the second a gun is nerfed, people just stop using it no matter what. Like, sure, I'm sure behind closed doors the pros still attempt it, but it's like the Krieg. The second it got nerfed, people just stopped using it. It didn't come into competitive play because everybody just goes, oh, it's worse. But I do wonder if a few months' time, nothing will change with the gun and people will try it again and it will be fun. It will be like decent. So the Tech 9, it wasn't used basically by anyone. It gets buffed, and now it has come back into fashion, and people are struggling to play against it because you can run, gun, and pop heads. So a tough round, a painful round as well for Dignitas, because this was them really building into things. It would have been 13-11 with a buy coming back up instead, or 13-10, sorry. And instead, well, 1 round the difference. If the T's win this, the money is gone for Dignitas, and they'll only have $1,900 in their accounts next round.
Well, you talked about the Forrest and the Halzerk combo on the outside bomb site. And it will be Forrest and Halzerk both to pick up the AWP for their team here. So the double up coming in. Halzerk's going to be the one watching towards Inner. Forrest's going to be watching towards Ivy. And this is something we didn't really get to see on Complexity's side. They weren't really able to afford the money, and Forrest just gets caught on the timing play. But he survives.
It's so tilted. It's one of those things where you watch something for a good 30 seconds, and the second you unscope, somebody peeks. Interesting flashbang from Rush. I don't think that's what he meant to do, but not the end of the world. The T's do have a fair amount of utility remaining, which is something we can't say for the Nordic side of Dignitas, who really don't have much left. It's only going to be Hauzerk, and if I'm honest, you don't really want to see your Orpa having utility, because then he has to unscope and throw a grenade. He might be able to set someone up, but you will normally see an Orpa, if they do have utility, still holding onto it for a fair few rounds. This aggression, though, I like this. Again, a round where Dignitas don't have much money, so they take map control away. It was something I wanted to see Complexity do more. This has gone almost flawlessly. The A main take has left things really awkward for Cole, and it's another round on the board for Dig, where they had limited utility, so they make an active change.
I think a lot of that was due to the fact, I think it was Poison who threw the Molotov, or as a Blame F, into ladder room. It hits someone, which was Get Right, so he backs away, and then he joins for the push in towards main, so they can hold it, so he can maintain the control of ladder room and maintain control of teammate at the same time. So really well, a really good adjustment, considering Complexity had no one there to even punish them for getting into that position. And now Complexity, as you talked about, if Dignitas lose that round, they could be out of money. Well, Complexity looking a little bit worse for wear. Obviously, still going to have the weaponry into this round, but you look at this. If they lose round number 25, Dignitas is up to 14, and then you're looking at potentially being a 15 if Complexity don't force up again.
Well, again, both teams financially on the brink. Sure, the CTs have a little bit left, but their purchase is more expensive anyway, so they'll be in a bit of an awkward position. Of course, the loss bonus is now quite high for Complexity, so a few more chances for them to get extra purchases, but we normally see these rounds building up. A Freiburg, okay, just straight through the smoke. It's going to wreck Rush. Config leading the charge, though, will be able to get that opener. He's got to be careful of the man up in heaven. I don't know if they'll expect someone to be here. It's not too commonly used, and they don't spot Get Right at all. It seems like he's done a lot of damage already. Config trying to spot him out, but Get Right's already moved. He's completely switched his angle. This is going to be in the back of the minds of the T side for the rest of the round, and he's not even there anymore. And with Forest putting down one more member, it leaves Blame F alone. He is the top fragger so far for Complexity, but this is a big ask. He's walking into a crossfire. The peek onto Forest will catch him out, and actually, that's a kill at least. Even going to switch the AWP. It doesn't seem like the best call, but I like this crossfire that Dignitas have. They're both going to play in roughly the same angle. Little chance for a lineup because of the elevated position, and to kill both here for Blame F, you almost have to assume a mistake.
Let's watch that from his point of view. The second he rounds the corner, well, you saw what happened. 14-11 now. Dignitas again able to hold strong, Get Right with another 2 kills coming through in that round, and we see Complexity's money. It's just not really going to be there. And again, as I was saying before the round actually finished, if Complexity lose that round, we're going to be stuck forcing. And Config, you know what? You earned yourself a spec for the entire round because of the weapon you just picked up. Now that I'm doing production, I can do that. And we don't have an observer, so but he has the PP Bison of all guns.
What? Well, I like the gun. Not, well, sort of as a meme, but what? Okay. Well, I'm guessing you've switched off.
Oh no, I definitely did.
Very fast.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Rush does at least manage to get a couple of kills. I do question if that was a misbuy. If not, I do think it's a shame that we don't get to interview him at the end of the match, because that would be some insightful knowledge as to why he bought that PP Bison.
Tom,
but
just sell the gun back.
I don't even want to. I know what it's in reference to. I still don't even want to comment on it.
Well, we're into potentially the last round now of the first map. We got picked up for Poison. Utility very lacking for the Complexity side, and Dignitas, well, they've got everything they could hope for in this round. And, well, the funds isn't quite there. And Halser, what a shot onto Poison and onto Oboe as well. And I think Halser just won the map himself here in potentially the last round. What a couple of shots out of him.
That was so dirty. Like that's something that Poison normally does to other people. I think he's finally learned how it feels like to be absolutely wrecked. And now, well, they found a trade. That's the one silver lining. They managed to get a kill elsewhere. Get Right's gonna be caught. Forest has pushed so far forward, though. You wouldn't expect somebody to do this. You can see the sheer level of confidence that there at the moment for Dignitas. It's a big risk, though. If he goes down, we're in a 3 versus 3. Sure, there's still extra angles to clear, but if there's one player pushed this far forward, you don't expect there to be anybody else in A main. Forest wins that opening duel, but he does get traded out. That's fine, I guess. And with 50 seconds left, they're gaining so much information. The pushes come through all the way from upper B. Exists now in another off angle. Again, he can't afford to just go down. He needs at least a kill. And with the peek out, he is going to get caught, but does manage to fade away. However, this at least leaves just one man on the B side.
Well, it's going to be Halzerk of all people. He's going to miss his first shot. Unfortunately, the flashbang catches him off guard. And it looks like he actually might get the bomb down here. So now it's going to be the 3-on-2 retake. BlameF is pushing very far up towards the CT side. Well, he does hold off. He spots out Freiberg. Now down to the 2-on-2. Exists going to actually try to get the kill onto him now, and he's going to finish him off as well. And it's all on Halzerk now on the 1-on-2. And BlameF gets the ace.
Damn.
Keeps complexity in the match.
Yeah, he's fragging out. I'm not really sure how they won that, especially after the early kills. You have to just think that should have just been fairly easy trades all the way back. But I think it was more just Exist getting caught in his rotation away, gave them a path onto that B site, and maybe a little bit over aggression from Dignitas in that round ends up punishing them. You now look at their finances. Sure, Halzerk's going to be able to afford an AWP in the next round. The rest of the CTs, it's going to be a bit awkward for Forest, but I think they'll be fine. Now we get to see whether or not they can save anything out. Obo, he must be dead here. Surely, but what? Okay, the first player dinks him up down to just 40-odd HP. I don't normally get excited about these sort of eco-round plays, but the fact he was so low already, oh, do it to him, Poison. Get revenge with a no-scope, even a knife, to add to his, well, financial collection.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't watching his point of view there, and
I was.
and all of a sudden I see the knife come through, and I actually jumped like it was me getting knifed. Completely caught me off guard. But still, complexity staying alive as we are only in the first map of the series. Look on the side of Dignitas, and well, Forest, MP9. You have Halzerk back on the op. You do have a couple of M4s utility. We're missing a couple of pieces. All in all, pretty good. And, you know, honestly, I would have thought complexity was out with how the CT side of Dignitas was playing. We saw Halzerk hitting some insane shots. Again, able to consistently get these kills up to 20 now for him. Gives him the man advantage. But somehow, like, complexity been able to, even just on 2 players, able to play off each other in a way to keep themselves alive.
I'm a bit disappointed that they haven't Molotov that off, because it's such a common position if you're going to get aggressive with the AWP that you do normally see a molly into upper B. And he's been aggressive around B quite often, like even just considering a couple of rounds ago. So they will take the position eventually. It is only going to be Exist here, and waiting for that cross to come back. Get Right will fall. So there's now, well, this might even be the round over. This could be a really tough retake if they even go for it. They do have positioning. They've got a couple of players around the back of the side, but look at where the T's are pushed to. Config already right on the corner. A push coming out from BlameF as well. Molotovs, all their utility because they managed to take it so early in the round. And rightly so, the CT side are just going to fall back. But this has now got a little bit out of control. Like, we were sat a couple of rounds ago, a 5v3. Halzerk just wrecking them at the beginning of the round. And pretty much sat here thinking that Train was done. Instead, 15-14. The CT side just trying to hold on to whatever weaponry they can. Only 2,400 loss bonus, so the remaining players maybe have a scout, maybe have a FAMAS at best. It's not looking good.
I will say this, though. I mean, credit to complexity. Like, they've lost a player fairly early on in a couple of these rounds that they've actually been able to still fight back and win, which is pretty insane. Considering you lose Obo within like the first 20 seconds to Halzerk, and then you overpower Exist, and then you get deep enough in the site that they can't hold you back. Really well done by BlameF and his team. Again, I've been really impressed with his calling and his fragging abilities. Up to 27 kills. No one's touched 20 on his team so far. Obviously, the ace he got 2 rounds prior helps out. But here we go. Will we see overtime, or will we see the 16-14?
Oh, it'd have to be a standout round from someone, that's for sure. As said, there's plenty of pieces missing from the puzzle this time for Dignitas. But they have had those star performers. I think Halzerk on the AWP. Forest and Get Right both performing. I mentioned at the beginning of the game, when they win, it's because Get Right is up there as that third man. And he has been this game. As you mentioned, he's sort of been chugging along, not necessarily having those highlight clips as we've seen from the Norwegian, but even still, it should be enough. Been a bit of a quiet game from Poison on the other side, but luckily Blame F has taken that mantle of star away, and with 27 kills and only 15 deaths, he's looking good to take this to OT. However, a much more passive round. Something we haven't seen so much from Dignitas. A lot of the success has come from taking map control. A main has been a position they've been able to grab a couple of times, and more importantly, the pushes we've had from Hauser. Instead, this time it's going to be Exist, and well, Obo, he's not going to get punished again. The youngster was ready this time.
Ooh, Rush just dropped straight into the op out of Halzer. Halzer again playing up close. Not fortunate to get that shot as he does fall immediately to Get Right. But still going to be down to the 3-on-3. Get Right's looking to push up Oil, and he's going to fall to Blame F again. Now it's down to the 2-on-3. No point to not commit into this, considering it is the last round of normal time, and Freiburg looking to punish Blame F now. He's been spotted out. Obo gets the spray through, and that's relatively easy. Now Forrest alone against 3, and that's going to be it. We will have overtime kickoff now between Complexity and Dignitas on our first map of Train.
Yeah, I think Dig are going to be kicking themselves a little bit. They allowed Complexity to get back into the game. Well, I suppose Blame F acing may not necessarily being them allowing him back in, as he seemed to just grab it with both arms, and well, we've seen how big those biceps are. But even still, like, this should not be in overtime. Dignitas should have closed out the first map, and we should be heading into the choice of Complexity with them in the lead. If Complexity now take this, well, they go on to Dust 2, a map that I don't think the Dignitas have been playing particularly well recently. And that's one hell of a start. They expected this time. This is what I mean. It's quite a common push to make. In the last 2 rounds it's happened for Dignitas. It has been opening kills coming up for Complexity. The question is there someone who can actually bring them back into this round? We've seen some big performances out of Forest. But ultimately, on the CT side at least, I feel like it's been the Halzuk show.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, that's a little unfortunate for Get Right. They know he's been playing the ladder position quite a few times. And with him going down, maybe it means there's no forward control to Dignitas over towards Team Main. That's actually, they're taking their time to recheck that one. But still, it's been a downward spiral now for Dignitas. It looks so good for them to take this first map and go on to that Dust 2. I think that smoke didn't go where it wanted to, unfortunately, for Poison. So drops a little bit too short, but here we go. It looks like they will make the play towards outside. Freiburg's waiting tucked away in the corner. Config, will he check it? And no. That's going to be the big spray down of Freiburg getting the 2 kills. They actually had a massive clumping of defense there to hold on to that. And now the last 2 players will be pushing out towards Ivy as they're going to get in towards the site. And Rush and Poison are going to respawn, even with Poison getting dinked up. But it's all come down to Forrest yet again.
Too many players homed in on his position, and well, I do wonder if there should have been Poison getting his AWP a little bit more in this match, because another 3K has come out from the Bulgarian, and this is where things could actually get quite brutal for Dignitas. We are playing 10K MR3. It means if you lose 2 rounds in a row, more so on the CT side, obviously the Ts can get bump ons and make some extra money. You can go into that final round with what? Some SMGs, maybe a FAMAS, and some pistols. That's not what we want to see. So if anything, I'm kind of hoping it gets leveled up by Dig. Otherwise, this next round might be a bit of a travesty. We're back to the classic hold, the standard we normally see on Train as a 4-1 setup is initially put in place. How's a complete opposite side to the map? The issue is I don't think Exist has been doing particularly well at holding the site on his lonesome. In fact, Get Right has come into support very early on. This time Exist will be able to get a kill and actually jumps up and drops the bomb. High impact from the Swede. And leaves only 2 players remaining. We have to remember, though, the last round definitely swung back into Complexity's favor.
Yeah, even though there's only 2 alive, I still wouldn't count them out. There's the first kill onto Exist. Poison gets the head of Halzerk, and now looking for the quick scope against Forrest. And well, you talked about it before, you wanted to see Dignitas be able to, or they should be able to bounce around back if they want to have a decent buy into the final round of overtime. And they will win the round. And now you look at Complexity, all tied up at 16 apiece. This is their chance to take the lead on the half. I mean, it was 8-7 in favor of Dignitas in the first half of Dig playing T's side. But with how Complexity have woken up, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for Dignitas now with how these rounds have gone. Complexity of looking like a little bit of a different team.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of their players wake up a bit, and also, well, going into overtime, you're not going to stop Poison having the AWP, which is something they actually did very well in their T half, just because the finances didn't really allow for it. Alzak as well was quite good at winning those duels, and replicating that all the time can be fairly difficult, especially after 30+ rounds of Counter-Strike. You start having different reads, working out what works and what doesn't. It seems like, just as in their first half, Complexity could be looking for some early Ivy control. Nothing really spotted, in fact. Freiburg just playing a bit more of a passive angle, wanting to try and take the peak, but with the smoke down on the other side, won't gain any real information. And they do have to be a bit careful here. They've got 2 players deep within the B site, clearly a position that they know has been favored by Complexity. One of them being that AWP.
Seems like they're really banking in on the inner bomb site hit yet again. As Rush just trying to cause that distraction towards outside. I think they know it's only one player as well, so they've not really rotated anyway from inner. And here's the push coming through. Config leading the charge. Halzer's going to get the first one, and Halzer's eventually going to fall as Obo as well drops down onto Exist. So we're down back into a 3-on-3 with 20 seconds remaining. The bomb will be planted. The flank coming in from behind, though. It's going to be forced, and he does get himself the first kill. Looking for number 2, and that's the bomb now down, leaving it all onto Obo. But he gets himself a double spray down. And it's Freiburg up against Obo in the 1v1. 8 seconds left.
Oh, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Actually gets time to plant. Oh, I got a little bit worried for Freiburg. I guess he was just a little bit skeptical as to whether or not Obo would actually be planting the bomb. And once you actually hear the bomb has been planted, you know exactly where he is. So making sure he stays safe, and Dig just about able to grind out that round. That was too close for comfort. Again, Forest with a master play from behind. If that doesn't happen, I would have banked on Complexity winning that.
Yeah, that was really good timing out of him, too. I think there was someone watching for the most part. And, like, the second they turn away, he comes up the ladder. But now we see Dignitas back on the T side. It was 8-7 in favor of them in the first half. But as you mentioned before, we're going to see Poison on the op, and well, Halzer's actually going to have an opportunity, too. He just takes Poison down without a chance and almost gets to the lineup. I think he did connect onto Blame F. He goes back for the third. And he will be finished off here, but at least things down to a 3-on-3 with Blame F down to 14 health.
Yeah, the double AWP was actually thrown in this round onto Rush. He's about to be rounded by Forest. Oh, does he spot him? Oh, easy kill. It leaves only 2 remaining now. The bomb's still down, so if the rotation is quick enough from Obo, there's a very small chance he could catch Forest just trying to retrieve the bomb, which, wow, that's one of the only ways I can really see them winning this round, and I think that's actually going to happen. Rounding the corner, there's the bomb dropped. Still left in spawn. Obo's just going to look to try and defend it. And now the remaining Ts are going to have to try and double back in that direction. It will be a bit of an awkward take for them, but luckily Obo already tagged, and even looking to face Exist will close him out in the end. A chance for Dignitas to do what they failed earlier. Probably should have closed this match out already, but if they win this round, it's done.
Yeah, that'll be at least their first map in the series. We still have Dust 2, potentially Nuke to come up third if we can get there, but I'm going to be very excited about seeing Dust 2, because that was one of the maps that really stood out for me for Complexity back in Season 9 of the Pro League when we were casting them when Blame F joined the roster. Well, we are still seeing the op for Poison. No double op setup coming this time, though, for the CT side. Even some early aggression out of the nades coming out of the T side of Dignitas, but they actually take the most damage from it with the Molotovs being thrown in and the nades. So they get a little bit cheeky there, and it costs them a hell of a lot of HP.
Again, we're going to see this pressure thrown in onto Ivy. It was a spot that was so successful. Crasher coming out from Config as well. A cheeky push up the ladder. Nets them the initial kill, and in fact, it's looking like they're going to rotate the majority of their players off of the B side. They've already made the assumption that it is going to be A. And with 3 players on Ivy at the moment, they'd be spot on. They're going to play it from very passive angles. I do wonder if BlameF might try and rotate in to try and actually challenge that position. And with the smoke going down, we are finally going to see this take begin. 45 seconds on the clock. Still a lot of spots left to clear. BlameF now in spot ready and waiting. I think the timing just got him around that corner quick enough. So with 30 seconds left, Dignitas still have no idea that he's just patiently waiting. Exist has to be careful. There's the first kill. Nobody watching to see if he flanks. This could be absolutely perfect again from BlameF. Already dropping one, but he's not getting greedy. He just wants to waste as much of their time as humanly possible as the play looks to come back in to A main as well, with Obo still patiently waiting for Forest. Complexity, it looks like they've got this round in the bag as Freiburg can't do anything, and the CTs will survive with 3 men standing.
Unfortunately, I think Forrest got 4x3 there too, because the M4 out of config was sticking out. Couldn't quite see it though as he pushed out of team aim, but I don't think it would have mattered too much in the end. But yeah, double overtime, Tom. Is that possible? Are we gonna potentially see this?
Sure, it's possible. You know, we can go all night. We've got another match coming up after this, but you know.
Yeah, that's gonna be delayed, I guess, by about an hour as well, considering how this series does go. Forrest taking already a load of damage as he pushes out. Your teammate Poison gets aggressive. The Halzerk special shows them what it's all about. And just like that, Complexity, they got the man advantage. Almost a man and a half if you count Forrest on 11 HP.
Yeah, this is a pretty awkward position from the T side. We've seen both teams bring rounds like this back, however. Halzerk somehow manages to make that peak work more often than not. It's quite surprising, in all honesty. And Config, he should know there's a second player here. That wasn't the man who just got the kill, but he's not quick enough with his realization. Again, we sit 3v3. And the distraction that Halzerk has made has actually given his teammates quite a lot of ground. They've managed to sneak their way out. A free kill could be coming up for Forest, who, unless Rush is going to have the realization that there could be someone behind him, and he does just at the right moment. His spidey senses were tingling. However, maybe not tingling quite enough, as he didn't know Freiburg would be able to keep BlameF, though. His A main aggression. We've seen this quite often from both teams, and it leaves Freiburg all on his lonesome 1 versus 2, and it is not going to happen. OT coming up again, Jason, and we're right back to 0-0.
All right, well, Complexity to be continuing on the CT side. Double up, obviously, can be acquired for them if they want to go for it. Blame of some 33 kills, by the way. No one else has passed 30 just yet in the entire match, though Forrest is on 29, is extremely close. There we go. Dignitas again. They have the op for Halzerk, who has been lifting a lot of weight in his team, I'd say, at least in that last round, as you saw before. And the Molotov this time coming out to prevent Obo from going for a peek, or maybe Poison this time, or last time. And Obo, he pushes a little bit early, and Get Right hears it. You see him turn around, then the second he hears that little bit of a damage moment, he just collides directly on top of him, and there we go, the push coming through. Freiburg even watches the rotation out of config. And the last 2 players are going to be ahead of them over towards Z, and I think they're just going to look to save this.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see in overtime, but definitely the right call. I would not be betting on a 2v5 retake, no matter what site of what map. And yeah, it seems like everything went wrong in that round for Complexity. As you mentioned, Obo getting aggressive. I caught just on the last tick of the Molotov, but that's enough to give the information away to Get Right. And then the other issue as well was, I think Rush got caught, missed his shot, and that was enough for Forrest to just kill him. So both entries were more of just mistakes at the CT side. But hey, Dignitas will take that all day long. They have had plenty of map points. Now you say that they, again, probably should have closed this by now. Now for the T side, money is not an issue. They've won the first round. They can throw as many players into BlameF as they want just to try and kill him off. They've already dropped the AWP. That's the bigger problem for the CT side, as that will be the more costly of the two. However, at least they get to keep one of their guns. 19-18, Dig take the lead once again. The question is, Jason, is this the OT where they finally close it?
I have no idea how this game's going so back and forth. There were so many opportunities now for Dignitas to do it. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating. Maybe not so many opportunities, but there were opportunities for them to finish off this match. That at least when the going gets tough, they're not breaking apart. Halsrick again, my eye's going to be on him. Poison going for the repick. Another Molotov comes through out of get right. It's not going to matter. Poison, oh, 6 HP. And he escapes. Oh my gosh. 5 HP as he falls off from upper. So low on life. They even had the Molotov to predict him. But they're still going to be playing a man down for Dignitas.
Again, we're going to see all this utility expended into the B side. Because there's been so many B hits from Dignitas, it's actually going to pull the rotation. They have spotted the barrel this time, and Config goes down for free. The cross being held by Obo, but he will be forced off by the flashbang, and the T's now in a strong position to try and get themselves onto the site. Obo won't be able to stop the cross. He is going to be pressured by Forrest, and he actually gets a second. I think he killed Freiburg through Forrest. That is as lucky as you can get. I don't even think he knew the second player was there, but Hauser once again. 2 kills, trading with that AWP, exist alongside him, and it's the 2 heavy hitters looking like they're about to face off, but exist won't allow that clutch to be needed. 20 on the board for Dignitas. The money is now a big issue. This was something I mentioned earlier. If you lose 2 rounds on the CT side, your money gets wrecked. And the CTs, well, they'll have a couple of rifles, a deagle for rush, and whatever Config can afford to try and stop the 3-0 sweep.
How many times, Tom, have Dignitas been down like 1-2 players and Halsert just comes up with a nice double kill? Like,
too many.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's been able to really put his clutch pants on this morning because they've definitely needed it. Poison's looking to get aggressive over towards Ivy. Be tucked away behind the smoke and just going to back out of this one in the meantime. But Dignitas looking for the 3-0 start on the second overtime in the first half on T side. That's way too confusing, honestly. But it looks like they do want to make a big play towards outer with the big stack they have towards Ivy, and they're just going to walk into this one.
Well, Incendiary does go down. Freiburg just runs straight through it. BlameF, no idea that somebody's already made the cross, so Poison has to try and do something. He will make his way through the smoke. Config with a nice shot onto Freiburg as well. Gives them a way back into this round. In fact, Exist so low is going to meet the same fate. Config coming out of nowhere with the dirty dig. Finally, he's been put down. And eventually, it will be that 3-0 start. Did Rush actually die? Or did he just drop out of the game before?
I think he did die, but then like dropped out.
Okay. It wouldn't make a difference anyway, because of course damage was already done in the round.
Insane shots out of him.
18.
Like, his shots at the deagle right there. Long range. Phenomenal. And you already talked about him before, really putting in some work. BlameF's been a little bit quiet, though, unfortunately. I think he went 0-3 in the second overtime so far. I think I mentioned him being on 33 before. Now, and is there a chance here for Complexity on T side to go 3-0 as well? I think with Halsrick and the way he's been hitting shots, it's going to be tough. Either they have to smoke him off, flash him off, or maybe go the direction he's not holding. Because we've seen him just have so many impactful kills in these rounds.
Yeah, the thing is, I think everybody has had a step up on the side of Dig, though. Like, I was mentioning earlier how Exist had been quite quiet. He's now up to 22 kills. Get Right still chugging along as well. Freiburg has really had a comeback because he had a very slow start to the game. So I don't think there's necessarily a good place to go. Of course, Hauzerk has been one of the main threats as of recent, but Forrest still on the 30 bomb. One thing I've learned is, with overtimes, it's never over until it's over, so there is still the potential for Complexity to bring this back. They were decent, they were better, if anything, on the T side. However, BlameF, well, he's not going to play any further part, maybe in the whole match. He already goes down, Rush trying to clear the smoke as well, but this counter-utility's been good. Hauzerk's gone, though. We mentioned the man as one of the big players for this side. This time, Freiburg tries to be the hero, but again, it's a man advantage for the T side. Config has got his 30 bomb now, catches up to the Dane. And and leaves just exist, is this even worth going for?
I'm not so sure. You save this. Maybe you can get... Well, at least it gives you more longevity in terms of keeping an op in play in all these rounds. And even with Complexity having a 3-on-1, they're not planning the bomb. They're taking their time, which is obviously got to be playing what exists head. Looks like he might walk directly into Config's crosshair, and there you go. There's the kill, and Complexity will keep themselves alive, up to 19 now.
I mentioned it before. If they can get 2 in a row, the third one should be for free. I will say I've seen a weird amount of those third rounds work. I think normally because teams try and throw in something a little bit ludicrous. But I'm starting to lose count of how many match points we've now had for Dig. I think we're already up to 7. With 8 and 9 still potentially to come. They definitely should have closed this out by now. Complexity, on the other hand, have had 0. Oboe, though, already starting things off. The man on B, Exist, is gone. It leaves Hauzek to try and defend it on his own. As you mentioned, though, he does seem to pick up doubles exactly when the Swedish roster need it the most. And in fact, Dignitas are all in. They've already rotated. They've got 3 men ready and waiting. Forrest finding the trade. More importantly, he's dropped the bomb, and Freiburg has picked up one more. Get Right catches the rotation. This is looking like it might be it. It's left all on to BlameF. Now, he's had an ace already in this match. This time, he only needs 4. But with the bomb down, a minute left, and 3 players waiting for him, this is the toughest position he's been in yet.
Well, now they would 100% know where he is with that smoke being thrown down as well. 48 seconds. Luckily, he has time to work with here, but to find these 3 kills in such a difficult angle to push, this has to be Dignitas win. This has to be. If not, they've made a major mistake in this round to give Complexity a chance to throw it into a 3rd overtime. But here we go, looking to push the smoke. Halzerk's waiting, and Halzerk will be killed off first. BlameF's got to find a second. He's able to against Forrest. Don't tell me! No! BlameF is going to clutch this out again. He's done it before with the ace to save them. He's done it yet again to potentially pull off a 3rd overtime.
I got nothing. Legitimately, I've got nothing. Like, normally you try and break down those positions. Like, oh, what went wrong? What happened? There were 3 men watching, and they all died. I don't understand. He shouldn't have been able to do that. But there is a reason that this man is right at the top of the board. 37 kills. He went a little bit quiet and then came back in full force. Maybe just saving his energy. But look at what's on the other side. Pistols, a few rifles, but they are still going to get the opener. As said, it seems to be the aggression that comes out from Dignitas that has been most successful on their CT side. We've seen plenty of A-main pushes, the aggression out from Hauzerk as well when he's had his AWP on upper B. Most of the time resulted in him getting a kill. If they win the last round and then this is the one they lose, you've got to be kicking yourself if you're Complexity. They are going to come back into a 4v3. Bomb should be able to be planted, but they've got to be careful of that flank. Get Right is waiting patiently, but the Flames will keep him at bay for now.
Well, with bomb down now, flashbangs being thrown. It looks like they want to take a more forward position on this T side. Oboe gets the first kill to Halzerk. Again, Forrest trying to watch the scout. Freiburg with the only good rifle on the CT side. He's going to fall to Oboe. And, oh my gosh, I think we're going to see that 3rd overtime coming in, Tom. Forrest gets 1 kill. Oboe again. That's a quad kill for him, and Get Right will fall to poison, and we're not done. I don't know what it is about us casting in the road to Rio.
How are we still here, Jason?
We already started
we started
what, an hour-ish late, and then we have a triple overtime in our first map of the series.
I still can't believe they lost that 1v3. Like, the next round now just makes perfect sense because they had no money, and, well, you've just lost a 1v3. Of course, you're going to be wrecked after that, but I don't understand. I don't understand how we're still here. It has now been a silly amount of map points for Dignitas. It just seems like they just can't close this one out. I think, yeah, it was 4 rounds in a row at the end of the first half. So that was their 4 map points initially. Then I think they had 3 in the last, of course. So that puts us up to 7. I think they had 2 in the initial as well. Like, they just can't close out this game. I don't know. Maybe they just really like train and are a bit worried about Dust 2 and just want to keep playing for a little bit. But this is ridiculous. If Complexity win this now, well, luckily the guys on the other side in Dig are some of the most experienced players in the whole of Counter-Strike and should be able to have a mental reset. But even with the mental reset, they have to go into their own or their opposition's map choice at a disadvantage. That's not something you want at all. Like, Dust 2 has been a decent map for Complexity. But even still, we're not done. I don't know why we're talking about ifs and buts, because we have to continue on with this match, which is now into its 43rd round. Looking for a double map at this point. Once again, we're going to see this slow default coming out from Complexity. Trying to fake out a couple of players on B by throwing in some early grenades. Just hold players there, which they've had to do. The B site has definitely been the weaker of the two throughout this CT half, Exist being caught a fair few times. And although Halzok's normally quite good for the trade, it's mainly been his aggressive rounds where he's been able to get a kill for free. When he sits passive, he normally gets one and then is traded. That's something Complexity have actually done very well. It definitely helps when BlameF can just take a couple of rounds individually by killing everyone. But here we go. Ivy take coming. Freiburg about to be pressured.
Turns from the flashbang. Can't turn from his fate, unfortunately. His config will take him out of this round. Force, though. Appears walk directly under him, but he's still going to get the bomb in the meantime, and BlameF will eventually get the kill, but at least BlameF alone against 3. Dignitas will get the round victory off the back of 2 kills out of Halzerk. Again, he's able to have such massive impact in these rounds, but Tom, honestly, I don't know where this map's going anyways with how back and forth it's been.
Well, we've got already 5 players over 30 kills. Freiburg and Get Right, 1 and 2 kills away. BlameF close to a 40 bomb at this point. Obo with 10 assists and Freiburg with 9. Like, it's just getting ridiculous statistically, and well, there's still more to come. I'm almost scared to say, even if Dignitas get the 3-0, well, they did last time, whether they'll even be able to close it out. So there we go. They've already got that one round that they needed last time. Already, Get Right with the opener. This heaven position has been one that's worked out quite nicely. Mobo's just going to go, or at least was considering running straight through, but instead, he'll get rid of Freiburg from the wraparound position. Forest boosted up, and still plenty of players here. They have not cleared this site whatsoever, but Obo and BlameF, in a matter of seconds, turn this round back on his head. BlameF, once again, this man is an absolute tank, as he gets a triple, only on 4 HP, and, well, Jason, he's made it. 41 kills.
I think we need to find something even bigger than a tank, because that is just insane. The amount of times this guy's kept them alive in this first map alone is ridiculous. And now, going into our last round of this half of overtime, Complexity looking to take the lead, and the way they're playing, with the way BlameF's playing, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the map now.
Yeah, I think he's more like an aircraft carrier, and he's bringing the rest of his team with him. Config was going to lead the charge, but gets double naded. I think he actually had the bomb. I don't think he knew he had the bomb, though, so that's actually a bit of an initial mistake. It becomes a retrieval mission, and this AWP is not going to allow that bomb to be picked up. Get Right. Waiting for the cross, and will catch up another player, so it looks like it will be the lead into that second half of the third overtime. It's becoming more of a mouthful every second that goes by, but Poison, he's already going to spot out 2. Surely we can't see another round like this slipping away from Dignitas. Get Right has a decent angle, though, to try and deny any push in. A single bullet will do the trick, and he will get that final kill, thankfully.
Okay, so magic number 25. As I say, with a question mark at the end to make sure Tom can correct me if I'm wrong, but because he hasn't, I am very confident that I'm right in that number.
Yeah, it's 25.
It's not very often you have to say, you know, 25 is the magic round to win.
No.
But here we go. Again, Ops battle going to be coming with Poison Halzerk. It's going to be Obo just to solo defend the ace or the B site, as Gerright's going to be the one to not fall early on this time. Throws the molly immediately off the bat. But it's going to be heavy pressure another time over towards Ivy, and BlameF's already set himself in a position to have a massive impact in this round, and there's the first, and even maybe a second. Halzer, 10 HP remaining, and BlameF's just going to hold this position. I swear his biceps alone would prevent them from pushing out of Ivy, but now Forrest, he's pushed in out of main. He gets the kill into Poison to alleviate some pressure, but no, Blame is still there.
Oh, BlameF should be screwed now. Like, there's so many players around this angle, but Rush, thankfully, has got him covered. Get right, though, just comes out of nowhere. 2 kills straight back. These rounds just seem to swing back and forward every single time, with Obo now sneaking his way through the smoke. 11 HP combined on the last 2 players, and Exist, well, a 1 HP 1v2 would be very impressive. Can't give anything on the other side. If he stubs his toe, he's out of this round.
If he sneezes too hard, he's out of this round.
Horrible way to go.
If he bites his nail a little bit too short, he's out of the round.
Ooh. Bad habit, though.
If he stubs his pinky toe, well, he's out of the server. He's gone. He's no chance of coming back. But let's see. 1-on-2 with 20 seconds left. We've seen BlameF be able to pull things like this. I don't know how he's going to be able to do it with how passive Complexity are holding this. And there's the bomb. It's a little bit of a fake coming through. Obo peeks wide and gets the kill. And Complexity have won another round.
I almost don't want to say anything at this point, because I feel like we've seen everything. Like, unless they'd killed him with a flashbang, maybe. I guess that could be something a little bit different. Here we go. Full buy for both sides. We haven't seen Complexity with a map point. That's one thing that we haven't seen just yet. The potential for it's here now, but already Freiburg is going to kick things off with the opening pick. BlameF, he's just going to run straight in. He's had enough. He's looking to try and do it all on his own. He's up to 44. We've spoken about Nifty with 50. Or maybe BlameF is about to join him on that mantle. It's not something that I think too many players are able to brag about, because well, most games don't really go this far.
I swear.
Poison.
God.
Going to alleviate the pressure with the smoke, and the T's once again are going to look to try and put the pressure onto Obo. He's definitely had his issues, at least in the early stages of the CT side, when it came down to these aggressive pushes. Normally, the result was some support from Rush, but he's now firmly in control of Ivy. And Obo, well, he needs at least, I would say, 2 kills here, because even though it's the B site and the retake definitely isn't as tough, you don't want to go in with a disadvantage. Luckily, Exist is just going to go down elsewhere, and Obo, he gets that 1-for-1, so he keeps the man advantage alive.
Well, bombly planted, though. There's a flank coming from behind, and it's the tank flank out of BlameF. You can have a player rush going over towards upper, and I like this play to Force, so he's getting aggressive. Use the smoke to his advantage. He'll spot rush out and help equalize things down to the 1-on-2 now, with Force have to watch his back and his front, and Poison was going to poke him with the op. The Complexity will now get themselves 1 round away from closing out this first map.
So as I said, at this point, I've basically lost count of how many map points Dignitas have had. I know how many Complexity have had. 1. And this is it. If they take it first time, I think somebody needs to go give the guys in Sweden a hug, because it would be horrific. And I'm liking the fact that they're going to take a pause. Take a moment. If they can win this round, they'll close out a long, exhausting map and move on to their own choice of Dust 2 with the chance of taking this through. Of course, both of these teams, as mentioned, are not making it through to the playoff stage. I think, well, I'm certain that's an impossibility. But there are still some extra placement points. And they could make... You don't want to look down the line seeing the fact that you lost this one best of 3 as a reason that you don't make it to the major later in the year. Like, that would be awful. There's going to be other chances to get points, of course, but everything counts. Every little counts. So This is an important series for both teams. It's gone tooth and nail all the way. But as mentioned, this is the first opportunity we've got for Complexity to actually close out this match.
Well, how many overtimes are we in now? Because we might potentially see another. Obo, though, look how aggressive he's getting. He gets the first and a second!
Oh!
They want to win the game right here, right now. Halzerk, though, looking to put this to a halt. And just like that, with 20 seconds in, it's a 4-on-3 in favor of Complexity.
Balls to do that in your first attempt of closing out the match after this many rounds to just run up B like that. He's off his rocker, but it worked. That's for sure. And Config, well, a trade, that could be enough. Keep things in a 3v2 advantage, of course. The last time, I didn't quite manage to convert this 3v2. Going to have two players actually playing on the connector. So quick rotations available. BlameF aggressive in upper B as well. So no real chance for them to not find out the information unless it was a play into Ivy. And there is a possibility that the CTs actually move. Rush now playing above the young Orpa, who's just waiting patiently. But so much ground is actually being gained. The only worry is if that bomb plant is attempted. If it's even slightly open, we could be losing Forest before anything can be done. He's actually going to check, though. So smart. Not going to allow anything from Rush. And now his teammates just holding on. It's going to happen again. BlameF, the last man standing. He's been in this position many a time. We saw him keep them in this match with a 1v3. Can he close it in the 1v2? Forest seems honed in on that angle. And Jason, we're still going. Another overtime on the cards. 24-24. It looks like we're going to break 50 rounds in this series. We're in this map.
Almost as many rounds as BlameF has kills at the moment. They just want to keep us here all night. I swear, we got another... Our second series is supposed to be starting in 50 minutes, guys. Come on, you can't keep this up. We can't delay it that long. But either way, Complexity and Dignitas both fighting tooth and nail here. BlameF looking to get aggressive towards main. Spots out Forest and gets the kill. So at least a man advantage for Complexity, but this has just been a non-stop battle between these teams. But it looks like the hit will come in towards inner, however.
Oh, with Forest gone. He won't be in these clutch situations if it doesn't quite work out for them this time. Halzerk. Alongside GetRight, actually looking to try and push out upper B. Seems like Rush is honed in on the angle, but initial shots won't connect. Actually, Rush is going to find the kill. GetRight now stuck in the mud as he obviously wants to try and get them back into the round. The CTs are already questioning whether they bolster the defense on the other side of the map. It could give an opening for Freiburg, but the fact is his teammates are all dying elsewhere. And after having the chance to close it out, of course, Complexity moments later win a flawless round.
Well, 28 now, the magic number, and Complexity have edged themselves one round closer to that magic number. Oh my god. BlameF on 47 kills, Obo on 40. I think Config's got a little bit quiet from what we saw within, the first half of him on CT side. And, you look at the score, 34 kills, Jason. How's he quiet? Well, he has two teammates, 40 plus. But either way now, Halzerk in that last round, that was very uncharacteristic of him. He missed those two shots. That might have been enough to actually take the site for them and have their lead in our 18th overtime of this map.
Oh. Again, we're going to see a doubled up defense on B. I can definitely understand it. A lot of the victories that have come in from Dig have been putting the pressure onto Obo, and even if it's a 1-for-1 trade for the youngster, it leaves the rest of the team in a bit of an awkward spot. They have given up overall Ivy control, which does give a chance for Halzek to peak versus Blame F. Timing might be as bad as it gets. Blame F just about makes it up the ladder in time before the Norwegian can make it through. I don't know if he actually spotted anyone with a peek over the boxes. I don't think he did, but he is just patiently waiting. If anybody stands up here, that'll be so much information for him.
Well, 30 seconds. It's going to be go time here in a few moments. Config, now he's going to push up in main. Gets the first, gets the second as Poison got the tag, and well, Poison will fall, but Config gets himself a nice 3K, leaves it all on Halzerk. And a 1-on-3. Bomb down, 17 seconds. The chance of him winning this round have gone down the drain. And Complexity, well, they take the 2.
Yeah, and he's not even going to be able to afford his AWP going into the next round, so unless someone wants to make the ultimate sacrifice, which I don't think they do, Halzerk's going to be left with, well, probably a Deagle, maybe a Mac-10 if he wants to try and, well, basically just blast into the site, but definitely not what we want to be seeing from Dig when they could be about to lose this half 3-0. 50 rounds now on the board, Jason. Question is, are we finally coming to a close? Blame F. 49th kill. One away from joining Nifty with 50, but Config maybe has other ideas as he's starting to catch up. Poison chimes in as well. The 50th for Blame F. Still on a 2 KD, by the way. And eventually, Config is going to make it flawless.
92 ADR.
This is the chance. Yeah, that's mad.
For
over
this many rounds. Exactly.
Obo has 99.
Oh my god.
The consistency is unreal. It's very impressive. Forest also has 50, and so does Exist, over 50 effective flashbangs. But of course, these numbers are just, they're almost meaningless at this point. Someone needs to close this out. Complexity, they have 3 chances to do it. We've seen so many at this point from either side. Well, mostly Dig, but nobody yet to be successful.
Isn't there like a gentleman's rule? If you go into a 5th overtime, you just call it a draw? Isn't that what's supposed to happen?
I don't even think anybody wrote rules for this far.
Yeah. I don't. To be fair, I don't think we're gonna get to a 5th with how well Complexity has been playing.
Why would you say that?
Well, because, well, I mean, Blame has been hitting a lot of his shots. His aggression's not really been punished. Halzerk, unfortunately, and I don't want to pin him as the man to blame because he's not whatsoever. He hasn't been hitting as many shots that we crowned on him earlier on with like the nice 2 kills he's been able to get Dignitas back to the man advantage whenever they would lose one.
If anything, you can tell it will be cagey, but Obo once again, he's looking for that big 100 for the ADR. Tease, get the man advantage, but only just. It's get right to fall, and Rush is going to find another. Could be the beginning of the end, but there is Halzerk. You mentioned him. He's actually going to go rotating. Exists heard everything. He knows. And the position is decent from Forest. Once again, an impactful double. He's given them an opportunity here, but Halzerk now falls. It's left on to Exist. The man bottom of the board. Just about reaching his 20th kill, but there is 24. And only 14 seconds left. The Incendiary tries to get onto the bomb, but Config's just waiting with it. He's got the opportunity to plant it, which he will just stick. There's no utility left. Actually just going to fake flash with the Glock, trying to play with his opponent's mind as looks to try and wrap around, and it is done, Jason. It's taken a ludicrous amount of rounds to close out this game.